In 1963, a musician was rehearsing when a man walked in looking down on his luck and offered to sell a guitar for a mere $50. It was one of those lucky moments. Without hesitation, he took the deal, and that guitar has been his ever since. A year later, in 1964, he picked up a second guitar from a local music store for $250.
The reason I got the second one is because the group I was in was pretty particular about the way they dressed and how we looked, and we had uniforms, and that didn't fit. That's just the way it looked.
The first guitar, with its unique appearance, didn't quite fit their image, so to stay in line with the band's style, he bought a more stage-friendly instrument. That same year, in February 1964, something incredible happened. His band was the house act at the Peppermint Lounge in Miami Beach, playing everything from horns to guitars. One night, they paid tribute to the Beatles with a special medley, which impressed the Fab Four so much that they stuck around to meet the band afterward. The group wanted a photo to remember the moment, but Brian Epstein, the Beatles' legendary manager, was strict. Absolutely no photographs, he said. But then, in true rock star fashion, Ringo Starr shrugged and said, "Hey, take the picture." And just like that, a rare split-second moment was captured forever.
An original photo like this by itself is probably worth close to $500 just for the photo.
But the real magic is in the guitars. The mahogany-bodied Telecaster from 1964, an unusual find since most were made with alderwood.
That guitar in a specialty shop or at auction would probably sell for $11,000.
Wow.
Meanwhile, the 1960 Telecaster Custom, despite looking more worn, is even more valuable. With its rare body binding and what collectors call honest wear, it could sell for nearly $20,000. Put the two guitars together with that legendary Beatles photo, and the whole package could easily go for a great price.
If the two guitars were sold at auction with the photograph, the package would probably go for at least $30,000, maybe as much as $35,000.
Wow. I didn't pay too much for them then, I guess.
Right.
In 1996, a man spotted what looked like trash, but not quite. His curiosity got the best of him, so he pulled over and started digging. Among the junk, he found something incredible. A rehearsal rundown from The Ed Sullivan Show, dated February 9th, 1964. The night the Beatles made history. Eager to learn more, he knocked on the house's door and met the owner's son, who was clearing it out.
And developed a rapport with him and proceeded to purchase some items from him, and the autograph photo is one of the items I purchased. I paid $100 for it.
Wow.
Turns out the son's father had been a CBS photographer, and one of his regular assignments was The Ed Sullivan Show. That connection gave him direct access to the Beatles, which explains how he ended up with these priceless pieces of history. Originally, Ed Sullivan wanted them on just once, offering them a solid paycheck, but their sharp manager, Brian Epstein, had a different plan.
And interestingly enough, Ed Sullivan wanted them to make one appearance, and he offered them a pretty good sum of money, and their manager, Brian Epstein, at the time, said, "No, I'd rather take less money, but have them on 3 times. So this was their first appearance, and they were to appear once a week for 3 weeks.
Looking at the rehearsal rundown, it lists the 3 songs they performed, plus the ones they played again to close the show. There could be more out there, but the appraiser had never seen another one. The Ed Sullivan Show was the go-to place for must-see television, bringing the biggest names in entertainment to American living rooms. Broadcast live from New York, it had a reputation for making stars overnight. With millions tuning in each week, a single appearance on Ed Sullivan could change a performer's career forever. And then there's the photo, signed by all 4 Beatles, inscribed to Grace. The man who found it wasn't 100% sure, but he suspected Grace was the CBS photographer's daughter. The authenticity checked out, with just a minor spot where Paul McCartney's signature seemed to restart, but nothing questionable. So what's it all worth?
If I was going to place the 2 pieces up at auction, and we're assuming that it was signed that night, I would put a pre-sale auction estimate at $18,000 to $24,000 for the pair.
A 15-year-old girl and her friends were ecstatic to see the Beatles live in concert. She had spent weeks babysitting for just 50 cents an hour to afford her ticket. The journey to Forest Hill Stadium in Queens took about 2 hours, but when they arrived, excitement turned to heartbreak.
And when we got there, I went in my wallet to get my ticket, and I discovered I had left my ticket at home.
Her friends went in to experience the once-in-a-lifetime show, while she was forced to leave with their father, spending the night at a friend's house watching it on TV instead of from the stands. To make things worse, she had to listen to her friends rave about the concert for months afterward. The one silver lining: because she never got in, her untorn ticket remains intact, making it much rarer than a used stub. While a torn ticket would be worth only $50 to $60, her full unused ticket is now valued.
And the full ticket right now is around $200 to $300.
Great.
The only concert ticket that sells for more is the Beatles' 1965 Shea Stadium show, simply because it features their picture on the ticket. After all these years, at least her one night of disappointment turned into a small victory. Now that ticket is going right back up on her wall. A former Beatles superfan brought in something truly special, her first edition copy of In His Own Right by John Lennon, personally signed by the legend himself. But what is the story behind it? Even more incredible. She wasn't just any fan, she was president of a Beatles fan club in New York City.
So all of my kids gave me things to bring to John and Paul and George and Ringo. I was living their dream.
One day while sitting in Paul McCartney's garden, she pulled out the book along with the gifts for him. Paul noted it and said, "Oh, let me read something for you." She just happened to have a tape recorder with her.
I was sitting in Paul's garden and I was taking out things that my friends had given to give to Paul, and I had the book. And he said, "Well, let me read something for you." At those days, I carried a tape recorder, and so Paul's reading one of John's poems.
The appraiser was blown away. Not only did she have John Lennon's autograph, but she also had a photo she took herself of the buck in Paul's hands. That means she owns the rights to the never-before-published photo, which alone could sell for $100 to $150. Signed copies of In His Own Right usually go for $2,000 to $3,000, but because of her airtight provenance, with photos and a first-hand story to back it up,
The auction estimate would be around $3,000 to $5,000.
That is really great.
And at auction, who knows?
it's the kind of perfect Beatles collectible story that most fans could only dream of. A woman brought in a collection of photos taken by her late husband back in 1964 when the Beatles were in Kansas City.
And he was a student at a junior college there and was working part-time at a PBS station.
When no one else at the station wanted to attend a press interview with the Beatles, he grabbed the press badge and went on his own. Armed with a family camera, he snapped photos of the band, including shots from their press conference and while they were performing live. The appraiser was blown away by how special these photos were. This was during the Beatles' first US tour, right after their infamous Ed Sullivan Show appearance. The Beatles' first US tour in 1964 was a massive event. Everywhere they went, crowds of screaming fans filled the streets and concert venues. Their shows were completely sold out, and their arrival changed the music scene in America forever. The best part? These photos were unpublished, meaning no one had seen them before. On top of that, the woman still had her husband's original press pass, which made the collection even more valuable. The appraiser estimated that at auction,
Like this many pictures, I would expect at auction anywhere between $3,000 to $4,000.
she was shocked by the value, as she had kept these pictures all these years, not realizing just how rare and important they were. Imagine finding a piece of Michael Jackson memorabilia that's been tucked away for years. Well, that's exactly what happened when a guest brought in a platinum record award that once belonged to her grandfather. He had a passion for collecting.
And he bought this at an estate sale with a bunch of other Michael Jackson memorabilia, one of which was a stuffed kangaroo doll. And this, I think, he had in his house for a while. He passed away in 2006.
He kept it at home for years until he passed away in 2006, and it was passed down to her through her father. The appraiser immediately noticed the significance of the award. It was for Thriller, one of the biggest-selling albums of all time. This particular record was a 10 times platinum award from CBS Australia, marking the album as their most successful selling record in 1985. The fact that it was a presentation piece made by the record company to celebrate Michael Jackson's success made it even more valuable. When the guest asked how much it was worth, the appraiser had some interesting insights. He explained that if the award had been sold before Michael Jackson passed away in 2009, it would probably have gone for only $500. If this were an official RIAA award, it could fetch up to $10,000 or more. Back in 2010, some of these sold for as much as $25,000. The guest was shocked by the value, learning just how much her grandfather's collection was worth after all these years. On display are two stunning bracelets, elegantly presented in a beautifully crafted box. These treasured family jewels were lovingly passed down to the guest from his mother, carrying a legacy of love and tradition. The exquisite pieces hail from the refined era of Georgian elegance, crafted between 1780 and 1800. The bracelets feature stunning carnelians in a vibrant spectrum of colors.
And I'm particularly drawn to the goldstone that we have here, and also the orange of the carnelians, very vibrant, very strong.
Although resembling gold, the metal composition of these bracelets is actually an alternative material. This alternative material bears the name Pinchbeck, a nod to Christopher Pinchbeck's innovative legacy. Born in 1670, Pinchbeck's fascination with mechanics and materials led him to experiment with unconventional alloys. Determined to create an affordable, durable alternative to gold, Pinchbeck spent years perfecting his craft. His relentless pursuit of innovation culminated in the development of Pinchbeck metal, a revolutionary brass alloy that shimmered with a golden hue. Bracelets of this caliber, hitting the auction block, would garner.
At auction, I'd expect it to get, because it's a pair of bracelets, about £3,000.
I'm just delighted.
These wonderful tables have been in the guest's family for about 250 years.
Mother's family, they've been in our family about 250 years. My mother's from Maine, on the coast of Maine.
Okay.
Made around 1810, they originated shortly after the Revolutionary War, a period that embraced a fresh design aesthetic known as the Federal style. This style emerged as a reaction against the elaborate Chippendale Rococo designs characterized by their curves and intricate carvings, favoring instead a more restrained elegance. The tables showcase feminine, perfectly balanced half circles that embody the simplicity and refinement of the Federal style.
These oval patteri right there in the front, typical of Federal, that's beautiful satinwood inlay.
As gaming tables, they feature a mechanism that allows them to unfold, with legs that swing out for stability. When not in use, they can be easily covered and tucked against the wall, preserving their beauty while saving space. Moreover, the tables feature oval pattery, a common motif in Federal design, adorned with beautiful satin wood inlays and tapered legs. The fluted carvings on these tables are particularly rare, adding a distinctive touch to their overall appeal. Additionally, they possess a double cross design at the feet, further emphasizing their craftsmanship. The first piece of this set is noted for its Rhode Island characteristics, a hallmark of quality and design from that region. On the second piece, the craftsmanship is attributed to a maker named Howard Thomas, who worked in the Providence area of Rhode Island.
As the wrapping came off, I saw this inlaid sprig. Now that is characteristic of a maker named Howard, Thomas Howard, who worked in Providence area, Rhode Island.
While both tables exhibit exquisite features, the first piece is slightly lower in height and lacks the decorative sprigs found on the second table. If the first table were to come up for auction, it would likely command an estimated price of.
I would estimate this at $5,000 to $8,000 at auction.
Okay.
In contrast, the second table, with its exceptional wood and decorative sprigs, would have been valued even higher at auction, reflecting its intricate design and historical significance, with an estimated value of.
I put an auction estimate of $10,000 to $15,000.
Wow.
Loyalty takes many forms, and in the world of sculpture, it is immortalized in bronze. Anna Hyatt Huntington was a prominent American sculptress known for her exceptional animal sculptures. She was a friend of the guest's relative, and she gifted a stunning dog sculpture to the guest's aunt. Born in 1876, Huntington became one of the leading sculptors of the early 20th century, studying under Gutzon Borglum, the renowned creator of Mount Rushmore.
Her dog named Echo, I understand.
Echo?
Yes.
And you see how beautifully modeled it is. The attention to detail.
Her expertise in animal sculpture is evident in this particular piece, which beautifully captures the essence and personality of her own dog.
And I think what's so great about it is the dog really has a personality rather than just some generalized idea of a dog.
The craftsmanship of this sculpture is remarkable, showcasing Huntington's attention to detail. In addition, the clarity of the casting and the exquisite patina enhance its overall appeal. Unlike generic representations, this sculpture conveys a distinct character, allowing the dog to exude personality and life. The size of this masterpiece is extraordinary, reflecting Huntington's commitment to quality and scale in her work. If this remarkable sculpture were to be offered at retail, reflecting its artistic value, historical significance, and connection to an influential sculptor, it could fetch an estimated price of.
Retail value in the $20,000 to $30,000 range.
Wonderful to know.
Beneath their charming exteriors lies a playful secret, making these Staffordshire frog mugs both a conversation starter and a collector's delight. We have here a pair of Staffordshire frog mugs, which are fascinating examples of 19th century English pottery. These mugs are decorated using underglazed blue transfer seams, a technique typical of Staffordshire potteries. The design features an idyllic English pastoral scene, capturing rural life with charm and precision.
An underglazed blue transfer scene on them. It's a typical English pastoral scene.
What makes these pieces particularly unique is the hidden frog figure inside each mug, a playful surprise element.
And then the surprise inside is that they have a frog inside.
This was a popular novelty feature in the 19th century, often intended to amuse drinkers as the frog would emerge as they emptied the mug. The mugs are dated around 1835, placing them in the late Georgian or early Victorian period. These pieces are in spectacular condition with no visible cracks or chips, which enhances their value. Frog mugs from this era are rare, as many were used frequently and did not survive intact. Given the craftsmanship, novelty appeal, and their excellent state of preservation, these pairs would command a considerable price in today's market. If sold in a retail setting or at auction, reflecting these pieces' history, they could fetch an estimated value of.
They would probably sell the pair between $1,500 and $2,000.
Oh my goodness.
If they were being sold.
Oh my goodness.
What we have here are exquisite blue and white ceramic buttons, likely crafted by the renowned English potter Josiah Wedgwood, who began producing such pieces over 250 years ago.
It was probably made by a famous potter in England by the name of Josiah Wedgwood.
These buttons, a couple of centuries old, were designed not for women, but specifically for men, indicating their use as luxury accessories in gentlemen's attire.
She might have worn them, but I think they were made for a guy. I think they're men's buttons.
This particular set includes 6 matching buttons, likely representing the full original collection. The craftsmanship of Wedgwood on this piece is exceptional, with each button featuring a central ceramic plaque bordered by a delicate layer of gold-colored metal. Furthermore, the backing is made from mother of pearl, adding both durability and elegance to the design.
There's a little bit of gold-colored metal, and then there's another edge to it, which we call mother of pearl.
The ceramic plaques are set into the pearl backing with precision, creating a striking contrast between the blue ceramic and the white bead at the center. Also, the designs on these plaques were not hand-carved, but made through a technique called sprigging, a method where decorative elements are molded separately and applied to the surface. The white bead, too, is cast in a small mold and attached to the blue ceramic, a testament to 18th century industrial innovation. Though originally carved prototypes inspired these factory-made buttons, the set reflects both artistry and the efficiency of Wedgwood's production processes. If these remarkable buttons were to be auctioned today, considering their age, provenance, and craftsmanship, they would undoubtedly command a high value of.
I'm going to say $1,500 to $2,000, and if somebody really wanted them, they could bring more than that.
This stunning bronze sculpture was purchased by the guest 20 years ago from a small shop.
And I came across a little shop and I saw him under about 4 inches of dust.
The piece bears the signature of Edward Wittig, a Polish sculptor born in 1879 in Warsaw.
Frontier, and the artist is Edward Wittig. And rather than German, he was a Polish artist.
Oh.
Wittig studied both in his homeland and in Paris, where he absorbed influences from notable artistic movements of the time. He had the unique opportunity to be a student of Auguste Rodin, one of the most influential sculptors of the 19th and early 20th centuries, further honing his craft under the master's guidance.
Early 20th century, he was a student of Auguste Rodin, so possibly some of the things that attracted you to it.
Wittig's work was featured at the Paris Salon during the early 20th century, which helped establish him as part of the European art scene. His style blended classical elements with modernist tendencies, and he became a key figure in the Art Deco movement. He was also associated with a collective called the Rhythm Artists, comprising around 6 to 10 members who were known for their strong advocacy for modern design principles.
He was part of a group of artists called the Rhythm Group that were 6 or 8 Polish artists that were part of really strong proponents for the Polish Art Deco movement.
This bronze sculpture carries a foundry mark on the back from a Warsaw foundry, adding to its historical and regional significance. However, Wittig's life and work remain somewhat obscure, as little has been published about him compared to his contemporaries. His association with Rodin and his contributions to Art Deco make pieces like this highly desirable among collectors. If this exquisite bronze piece were to be valued today, given its artistic pedigree and provenance, it would command a significant price of.
I'd estimate for insurance purposes a figure at around $10,000.
Wow.
So you certainly made a very good purchase.
Have you ever wondered what makes shoes special? Today, Drew and his team seek that secret in Northampton. For nearly 40 years, they've crafted shoe lasts. These lasts date back to the 17th century. Drew has a clear mission. He's searching for something specific among the molds and tools.
Blimey. Sort of knew what I expected, but...
Expected one or two.
But, yeah.
Springline makes about 20,000 lasts each year. They serve high-end brands and celebrities. Drew meets Michael James, the sales director. Michael holds up a last and explains its importance. This is the internal form of a shoe, he says. Manufacturers shape shoes around it. As they walk, Drew spots old leather horses and storage racks. I think there's something here for me, he says. Drew isn't just here to admire, he's ready to negotiate. He focuses on the shoe storage racks.
Those two be all right?
Yeah.
240?
Yep. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
These are gold. How much, he asks, eager to strike a deal. After some back and forth, they settle on £120 each. Drew is thrilled. He knows he can double his investment. But he wants more. He spots a beaten-up trolley. What about this one, he asks. Michael thinks, how about £60? Drew grins. Done.
A day, so probably 60.
Yeah. It's just a little under. I was going to offer you 75, so I'll give you 70 quid for it. How's that?
Each deal feels like a win. Drew notices an old leather horse on wheels. This could be perfect for displays, he thinks, eyeing it closely. Another deal is struck. Drew leaves with a treasure trove, satisfied. Sooner or later, I'll sell these, he thinks. I want to be the one who gets them. His visit was a success. He looked forward to more discoveries. This wonderful sculpture was purchased by the guest father in China in 1931 or 1932 while he was stationed there as a naval officer.
Father purchased it in China 1931, 1932 when he was stationed there as a naval officer.
The piece depicts the goddess of mercy, known in Chinese culture as Guanyin, revered for her compassion and kindness. Guanyin is often portrayed wearing long robes, either standing gracefully or seated, sometimes with a cowl draped over her head, which emphasizes her serene and meditative demeanor. Typically, Guanyin is depicted with raised hands, holding symbolic objects like a small scroll, a lotus branch, or other sacred items. Additionally, she often wears a beaded necklace, signifying spiritual devotion. This particular sculpture is made of bronze, with intricate design elements along the fringes of the garment and the body's midsection, enhancing its delicate craftsmanship. What makes this piece particularly special is the inlaid silver wire detailing, a challenging technique where the silver is embedded within the bronze rather than merely placed on the surface. Such precision work is rare, showcasing the expertise of the artisans involved. An inscription appears on both the front and the back of the sculpture, marking it as the work of Shi Shou, a known workshop active in China.
Now, where in the 19th century is tough to say. It's in beautiful condition. The inlaid silver wire is in good shape.
This piece is believed to date back to the 19th century, adding to its historical significance. Importantly, the sculpture retains its original inlaid design and unpolished patina, enhancing its authenticity and charm.
Fortunately, no one polished it, because you know about that.
I do.
If this exquisite masterpiece were to be auctioned, given its historical provenance, artistic craftsmanship, and rarity, it would likely command a substantial price of.
I think in an auction sale, it would make between $8,000 and $12,000.
Step inside an extraordinary Grade 2 listed house where history, artistry, and high-stakes negotiations come together in a breathtaking showcase of design and passion. Rare buck dealer Simon Finch purchased and restored the house in 1998. The arts and crafts movement sought traditional construction methods as a reaction to the Industrial Revolution.
When I bought it was an old people's home. I kind of just really fell in love with it, and how can you not? I mean, just look at it. It's extraordinary.
Finch described the house as extraordinary, having been previously an old people's home. The house is now furnished with an eclectic mix of artworks, furniture, and other beautiful items.
I don't choose what to buy. I mean, I just see it and I just think I quite like that. Quite impulsive.
Finch's passion for acquiring objects is evident, though he admits his purchases are often impulsive. Drew admired the house, remarking on its stunning beauty and the 8 years Finch invested in its restoration. Drew and Finch discussed a Rexine work chair from the mid to late 1950s, valued around £450. Finch offered the chair for £300, but they settled on £250 after some negotiation. The house features works by contemporary artists and friends aligning with the arts and crafts tradition. Drew explored the house's cellar, where Finch had a collection of angle-poised factory lights. Finch priced the lights at £350 for all 9, a deal Drew accepted, finding it a good business opportunity. Drew also viewed a Charles and Ray Eames lounge chair and ottoman, designed in 1956, known for its warm baseball mitt-like look. Despite its rough condition with coach bolts, the chair could be worth around £3,000.
This chair could be worth around £3,000.
It's a design classic. It's right up there. It's top 3.
Finch initially priced the chair at £1,200, which Drew quickly accepted. Finch later offered another chair for £1,250, showcasing his expertise as a dealer. Drew praised Finch's astonishing house, considering it one of the top 5 he has visited. Drew concluded the day satisfied with his purchases. Today's guest has a personal connection with the legendary actress Katharine Hepburn.
My heart went pitter-patter when you came. You have a personal relationship with Miss Hepburn. Tell me about it.
Miss Hepburn entrusted the guest's husband with delivering a remarkable watercolor painting as a personal gift to the guest. Hepburn, known for her illustrious career, was not only an international icon but also the winner of 4 Academy Awards.
She says, well, I know you went to college and you studied some art, and I'd like to know your opinion. And I gave her an honest opinion.
Beyond her achievements in film, Katharine Hepburn was a deeply private person who spent much of her later life in Old Saybrook, Connecticut. One of her passions, beside acting, was painting and drawing, which she pursued as a creative outlet. Remarkably, her artworks rarely appeared on the secondary market. The only known exception before her passing was one she donated to a charity auction. Her generosity often extended to giving her paintings as gifts, and this piece reflects that same spirit. Hepburn frequently spent time on her boat, and it's possible this watercolor captures a scenic view she cherished while on the water.
Very often she'd go out on her boat and she would paint from her boat, and you could see that this is probably a view from her boat as well.
This exquisite piece is marked with her initials, KH, and additionally signed Stanford 1960, adding an element of historical interest. Authentic signatures by Hepburn are rare, as many of her personal documents were signed by her secretary or assistant.
Something that looks more like a C than a K, and it's one of the reasons why you can tell the secretarial signatures from her original signatures.
However, this painting bears her own signature, increasing its authenticity and value.
But in this particular case, it sort of reinforces how authentic and original this is.
If this remarkable artwork were to be auctioned today, reflecting the rarity, provenance, and personal connection, it would undoubtedly command a substantial price of.
Put an auction estimate on this, I would put an estimate of $15,000 to $20,000 on it.
Transforming a rusted relic into a dazzling piece of art, Ted's latest creation turns a 300-year-old lightning vane into a stunning centerpiece worth its weight in gold. Today, Shere Khan, a notable dealer, arrives with a new project. Shere Khan sources materials from all over Europe and England, making each item a unique surprise. Upon arrival, Ted greets Shere Khan and examines a new package, a weather vane. The vane is actually a lightning vane designed to attract and disperse lightning to prevent fires. Invented by Benjamin Franklin in 1749, this 18th century lightning vane likely hails from France.
Lightning vane is designed to provide a safe path for electricity to travel from the roof of a building down into the ground without causing an electrical fire.
Years of exposure to weather have rusted the metal, and Ted needs to create a base for display. Ted aims to retain the vane's aged look while cleaning and designing a new stand. Shere Khan purchased it for a few £100s, a fashionable item now coveted. Ted envisions creating a bespoke spire base, resembling the top of a tower. He marks an octagon on wood as a template and arranges steel bars for welding,
which are then arranged onto the template, ready for welding.
For the spire's uprights, Ted uses a round steel bar, shaped with a ring roller for a subtle curve.
But because of the rubber wheel, what it doesn't do is you don't get these sharp edges where the two get close.
After welding the uprights, Ted assesses the vane's fit on the base. Ted adds a French cockerel on top, made from copper, known for its rust resistance. The cockerel is crafted using annealed copper for flexibility and shaped against a wooden former. Raised lines for the tail feathers are added using a wheeling machine for a detailed texture. Shere Khan returns to Dorset to see the finished piece, which impresses him greatly. The restored lightning vane with its new spire base and copper cockerel is praised as a stunning work of art. This amazing piece is potentially worth £10,000. This lovely vase was believed by the guest to be made by Louis Comfort Tiffany. It is, however, made by the company Loettes. This mistake is common, as many Loett's pieces were passed as Tiffany's by some unsavory characters at that time.
There were some unsavory characters who went out and took a piece of Loett's and put a very nice Tiffany signature on the bottom.
Also, Loett's and Tiffany made many similar pieces.
Because a lot of times, Loett's is unsigned, as is your piece. And you can see this beautiful ground poncho right here.
This piece is made of iridized glass. It's a very nice Art Nouveau piece made around the 1900s. The appraiser values it about.
And I would probably put a value of $3,000 to $4,000 on this piece.
In 2014, the value dropped to about $1,500 to $2,500. How much do you think it is valued in today's market? We'll be in the comments. Ever stumble upon a hidden gem in the most unexpected place? Today's adventure takes us to a quiet English town where surprises await, in the picturesque town of Farnham, known for its medieval castle. A treasure trove of contemporary art lies hidden in the Valley Sculpture Park.
In a nearby forest is the Pride of the Valley Sculpture Park, which showcases over 650 contemporary artworks.
Nestled in a forest, this park boasts over 650 sculptures and works of art. Spread across 10 acres, it's far more than just a field with a few statues. The mastermind behind this artistic haven, Eddie Powell, entrepreneur and art lover. Eddie's vision is simple. Art is for everyone, no matter your taste or style. As the journey unfolds, each step reveals a unique piece with its own story. First up, rustic benches from 20 to 30 years ago, aged gracefully outdoors. The weather had given them a silvered patina, and Eddie priced them at £350. Then an antique garden chair caught attention, weathered yet timeless. A stunning relic from the 20th century, its price stood at £1,150.
With impressive scale, it was worth around £1,150.
Next, a 20th century bird bath, slightly damaged but still captivating, priced at £1,250. Its charm outweighed its imperfections, but the highlight, an 18th century oak-like gate, worn and weathered by time.
Cast in durable lead, this attractive piece was worth around £1,250.
After some friendly bargaining, a deal was struck for £400. As the day wrapped up, the park revealed more treasures and unforgettable finds. What's the lesson here? Keep your eyes open. You never know what might elevate your space. A clothing ensemble reflecting fashion at a certain time. The Flapper Ensemble belonged to the guest's great-aunt, who was a buyer for bullocks in the 1920s. The rare ensemble shows the unique style of dressing at that time. The mixture of colors and designs contributes to giving an exquisite yet simple piece. The all-American-made ensemble consists of the lovely green leather gloves, a beautifully designed mesh bag made by Whitney & Davis, the leather shoes, cloche, and the dress. The appraiser values it at
would be somewhere between $1,200 and $1,500.
Oh my
for
goodness.
the complete ensemble.
Amidst a sea of forgotten relics, Drew's persistence pays off with the rare discovery of a complete Victorian chemist shop, a gem worth the journey and the cost. The old-fashioned shop displays included a butcher's, a cabinet maker's, and other vintage trades.
An old-fashioned shop, a butcher's, we had a cobbler's, we had a...
Bakers.
It was close, a cabinet makers.
The museum's other sheds were found to be filled with unsellable junk. The windmill, claimed to be the largest in the UK, also yielded no valuable finds. A final building visit offered hope as Drew discovered a complete Victorian chemist shop. The chemist shop was from Gold Chemist on the Isle of Wight. Made in the late 1880s by George Trevel & Son, it was a high-quality piece. This unique shop, sold as a complete set, could be valued around £20,000.
Sold as a complete set, it could be worth around £20,000.
The asking price was set at £12,000. After negotiation, Drew settled on £9,000 for the shop. A bigger van would be needed for the transport. The moving process was expected to take 2.5 to 3 days. The chemist shop was a fantastic find, despite its challenges. Drew was thrilled with the acquisition, despite the hefty operation costs. Drew hoped the shop would attract a collector, potentially offering a significant discount. This clock, which was made in 1890, has been passed down from generation to generation.
And I guess the story is it hung in her great-grandfather's bar in Ohio before it came to her, and then she passed it down to my mother and it ended up in my hands. All I know is it's a pretty clock.
This clock was perfectly crafted by the Seth Thomas Clock Company in 1890. The label on the bottom indicates its former name. It's an unusual and beautiful clock. It runs for 30 days on one winding. The hole on the side suggests that it was a master clock and ran other clocks as well. Despite its old age, the clock is still in fine condition. It's a beautiful original mahogany case clock. Its retail price can be between $1,800 and $2,200.
Would sell for $1,800 to $2,200.
Wow.
Drew steps into a world of magic where hidden treasures and history await. Drew and T head to Norfolk, excited to visit Davenport's Magic Kingdom, a museum with Britain's largest collection of magic memorabilia. Roy Davenport, the museum's curator, is the fourth generation of his family to run the business. The Davenports were magicians, teachers, and distributors of magic props starting in the late 1800s. The museum shares their history, and famous magicians like Tommy Cooper and Houdini were regular visitors. Drew is eager to explore, especially the recreated shop from 1948, which is arranged exactly as it was back then. As they move into the warehouse, Drew is amazed by the shelves of unopened jokes, puzzles, and magic tricks, many in their original packaging. He spots a sponge banana among the quirky items, which makes him smile. Then something catches his eye, a cane mannequin made around the early 20th century used in shop displays. The mannequin is in poor condition but has a beautiful form, and Drew believes it could be valuable. After some discussion, Drew offers a price, but Roy counters with a higher one.
And despite its poor condition, this one could be worth around £2,000.
Drew agrees to the higher price and buys the mannequin. Although the mannequin wasn't originally for magic, its rarity makes it special. Drew leaves the museum feeling satisfied. He didn't buy everything, but the rare find was worth it. The visit was both fun and successful. The guest bought this living room set online for just $60. The set is designed by Danish furniture designer Hans Olsen. He studied in Denmark at the Royal Danish Academy. This set was manufactured in 1957.
The set's designed by Hans Olsen. He was a Danish furniture designer, studied in Denmark at the Danish Royal Academy.
It's made of teak wood with wicker in the back. This furniture is flexible and can be shaped into many forms.
What made it popular in its day was the fact that it was informal, it was fun, and flexible, and it's those three components that really make it desirable again today. It really hasn't fallen out of favor. In fact, it's become more fashionable.
Its chairs can be separated, and it can be used as a daybed. Its flexibility and informality make it desirable for people to even buy it nowadays. Its estimated value at an auction can range from $1,000 to $2,500.
I think a good auction estimate would be $1,000 to $2,500. And probably closer to the high. You can find retail sales above that. It's great.
Drew has owned his shop in Conway, North Wales for 5 years, and it holds sentimental value to him. He refers to the shop as his toy box, where he enjoys rearranging furniture and decorating.
Very nice thing to own. I used to call it my toy box, and I'd go down there in the morning and move things around and play with furniture.
With the rise of online trade, Drew receives an irresistible offer for the shop and makes the tough decision to sell. His mindset, shaped by 30 years of buying and selling, is that everything has a price. Drew is now focused on expanding his online venture, and the transition marks a critical phase for the business. He and his partner travel to Sussex, where Drew finds an opportunity that could benefit his online venture. They visit Michael Hall School, a Georgian mansion rich in history and architecture. The mansion features valuable pieces, including Jacobean Revival furniture, which Drew is eager to purchase. Drew is particularly interested in a beautifully preserved hay rake table, constructed from oak and dating back to the early 20th century.
And then across from it is a hay rake table. It's just got the most beautiful look to it. It's in the condition you want to find one in. It's utterly untouched, but it's been used a lot.
The tables have been gently used but remain in excellent condition, exactly as Drew prefers. In the cellar, Drew discovers a large oak sink, which has aged well with a copper lining. The sink is described as a heavy but valuable find, maintaining an attractive patina from its copper lining. The oak furniture pieces and the sink reflect craftsmanship from an earlier era, and their historical value appeals to Drew. The school manager reveals there are other oak items, including benches that Drew is keen to add to his collection. Drew places bids on the oak trestle tables and matching benches, recognizing their potential in the market. Drew places a substantial bid on the stone bench, recognizing it as a rare piece from the 18th century. He successfully negotiates the purchase, knowing such rare items can greatly enhance property value. Drew concludes that the items will be restored and resold, contributing to his continued success in dealing with high-quality antiques. The guest purchased posters from the 1930s Works Progress Administration (WPA) period in America. The posters were obtained from two elderly ladies, and two of them were signed. Dating back to 1936 to 1941, the WPA employed thousands of artists to produce posters.
These are all from 1936 to 1941. The WPA employed over 5,000 artists, and they produced thousands and thousands and thousands of posters.
Despite their significance, few posters have survived due to silkscreen printing on board. The guest had a total of 6 posters, and they are in quite good condition. Due to the poster's popularity in America, the estimated value ranged between $10,000 to $15,000.
As a group, the 6 pieces that we have here at $10,000 to $15,000.
Drew visits the Bank of England and Merchant Taylors' Hall in London. The hall dates back to the 1300s. Its rich history includes destruction during the Great Fire and World War II. Drew admires its 1957 rebuild and historical artifacts. He spots a rare stern badge from Henry VII's reign. The badge is an original from a ceremonial barge. Another highlight is an 18th century Thomas Johnson mirror. This mirror, valued at over £80,000, features intricate rococo detailing. Drew is impressed by its craftsmanship. He also finds a faded 19th century hand-knotted rug. The rug's worn, repaired appearance adds character. He negotiates a price of £650 for it. In the crypt, he discovers a Victorian oak stick stand. This stand includes its original lead-lined drip tray. Drew purchases it for £120. A framed photograph of the Roman Forum also catches his eye. He buys it for £400, valuing its historic charm. The Merchant Taylors' Hall blends history with charity, supporting education and philanthropy. Drew's visit showcases rare and valuable finds that combine beauty and history. This guest brought in 2 pieces of painting from a renowned expressionist artist, Kater Kollwitz. The man inherited the pieces from his godmother, who purchased them for 5 marks apiece in about 1947 in Germany. The first piece is an etching that depicts a brooding woman sitting under the church wall, which is believed to be from 1921. The second one is a pen and ink drawing of a self-portrait that was executed somewhere around the 1920s or 1930s. Astonishingly, there is a contrasting value in Kater Kollwitz's print and drawing. The auction price for the print is around $5,000, while the self-portrait is worth around $50,000.
Oh, come on now.
It's true. You saw it on the Roadshow.
2 seasoned treasure hunters return to the Cotswolds, ready to unearth hidden gems from a legendary dealer's secret stockpile. Drew and T are traveling 200 miles southeast to the picturesque Cotswolds. Back in 2017, Giovanni sold Drew a rare and valuable aesthetic movement wardrobe. Today, the pair hopes to uncover more hidden treasures from Giovanni's expansive collection. Giovanni, who has been in the trade for over 40 years, now manages a 7,000 square foot storage space. Drew is eager to explore the huge volume of stock that Giovanni has accumulated. Drew spots an original Regency painted chiffonier with great historical value. This piece, dating back to around 1810, still retains its original paintwork, a rare feature.
Dating to around 1810, this pine open bookcase is unusual because it still retains its original paint, rare in such a simply made piece of furniture.
Although initially priced at £900, Drew successfully negotiates it down to £750. Drew also comes across a striking mahogany bookcase, adorned with intricate brass wirework. The bookcase, which dates to around 1830, is complemented by press with sliding trays for linens.
Dating to around 1830, the glazed mahogany doors to the bookcase above is furnished with intricate gilt brass wirework decoration.
This unique combination of bookcase and press makes the item particularly desirable, valued at £1,800. Giovanni initially sets the price for the bookcase at £1,250, but Drew aims to lower it. After some negotiation, Drew manages to bring the price down to £1,000. In a clever move, Drew bundles the bookcase with another early piece for a combined price of £1,300. Giovanni, now 80 years old, impresses Drew with his sharpness and energy. Drew feels he's made smart investments for future profit. The deals he struck today leave him excited about the potential value these pieces hold. One of the patients of the guest's father had many dolls and gave one to the guest. It's the guest's favorite doll. The doll's name is Just Me, and it was created by Armand Marseille.
Well, let me tell you about your little doll. You have a Just Me doll. That was her name, Just Me.
The mark with 310 is the doll's mold number. It's a very popular model, and the Vogue doll company still creates dolls of this model. The doll is exceptionally beautiful, with realistic eyes, mouth, cheeks, and wig. Its wig is made of animal fur, but looks like human hair. It looks so original. Even the costume, including the shoes, lace, hat, suit, and pantaloons, look real. It was made in 1925, yet it's still popular. Doll collectors still appreciate this model. It can easily be sold for $1,200 to $1,600.
In a retail setting, this doll would sell for $1,200 to $1,600.
Wow.
Ever feel like you've stepped into history? That's today's vibe. We're heading to the Crystal Palace Antique Centre. Drew is meeting Ben today. He's a top dealer, known for high-end pieces, and he's ready to show them around.
Hi there, Ben.
Yeah.
Drew, how you doing?
How you doing?
Hi, I'm T. You all right?
T, all right?
Come to have a look round.
Oh, yeah? Oh.
Can we have the full tour, please?
Yeah, you can have the full tour. Come with me.
Inside, there's everything from Danish mid-century to Victorian treasures. Each dealer brings something unique. As Drew enters, Ben leads them to his space. A stunning rosewood table catches Drew's eye immediately. Drew admired the piece, commenting, "That's Danish, isn't it? Beautiful work." Drew suggested to pair it with a Georgian mirror, and it would be perfect. Ben shared that he grew up around Victorian antiques, but he loves more modern pieces now. They move on. Each room reveals more treasures. Drew is excited. Drew laughs, pointing at a portrait, and mentioned that he's got that grumpy look. The faded eyes make the portrait even more intense. He found it miserable, but loved it. The portrait is from 1840. It needs some work, but it's perfect for a country house. Ben checks with the dealer. Drew gets the portrait for £100. Next, Drew spots a pair of oak bedside tables. Simple but elegant.
They've just got that lighter section of timber to the centre, which looks like two stripes down it, and it gives them a balance and it gives them a bit more interest.
Drew mentions that these are a steal at a mere £140, and that they'll look amazing with a little polish. The final buy is a huge 19th century cast iron urn. Drew negotiates it down to £340. Drew's visit was successful, and he looked forward to more. Imagine how lucky you could be to have two paintings of your great-great-great-grandparents that were painted in 1826. The guest brought these two pieces to the show after being gifted by a lady who found out he was the direct descendant of the Mebane family in North Carolina. The unique folk art is a self-portrait portraying David and Elizabeth Mebane's lives, and was painted by an unidentified artist among the then Guildford County limner. The two paintings are watercolors on paper with distinct characteristics of a straight-up face with large eyes and eyelashes. The conservative estimate of this pair of paintings would be around $20,000 to $30,000, and in some cases might rise to $40,000.
And on this pair at auction would be $20,000 to $30,000.
Whoa. From a young dreamer to a dealer of schemes, Matt's bold antiques sparked Drew's ambitious dreams. In Yorkshire, a young entrepreneur named Matt Dixon is gaining a reputation for his bold and unique taste in antiques. Matt's passion for antiques began while watching his grandmother bargain for treasures during their Tuesday dinners. He finds joy in owning pieces, even if it's just for a short time. Drew Pritchard, a salvage expert, visits Matt to see his collection. Drew is impressed by Matt's confidence and approach to the antiques trade. As they explore the shop, Drew notices a decorative lava stone Buddha head from Indonesia, which dates back to the 20th century. Matt gives a price, and Drew is quick to agree to the price, knowing he could resell it for around £150.
It follows the ancient Buddhist tradition of personifying the wisdom and serenity that comes with enlightenment. These icons are very popular and could sell for around £150.
Next, they discuss a pair of large religious banners priced at £2,500, though Drew suggests they should sell for around $1,800. While Matt's prices may be high, Drew appreciates his business style. They also examine a 1970s fossil marble coffee table which catches Drew's eye. Matt offers it for a price, and though Drew feels it's a bit steep, he believes he can make a profit. Later, they visit Matt's nearby warehouse, where Matt shows Drew some of his latest acquisitions, including a triptych of screen prints by Sharon Elphick. Drew sees potential in these pieces, which he buys. Overall, Drew is excited about the mix of items he found today, including the Buddha head, marble table, and artwork. He is pleased to have met Matt and looks forward to continuing their business relationship, impressed by Matt's keen eye for unique antiques. A woman who is lucky to have nurtured a close friendship with a family closely linked to Charles Laloma came to the show with a painting, a ring, and a bracelet that was among the Charles Laloma collection. The bracelet and ring were originally made for the guest friend, who sold them to her for about $3,500 in 1975. Charles Laloma was an important artist and jewelry designer, who was renowned for her cluster work with precious and semi-precious stones. The bracelet is quite an unusual one that stands out for its beautiful turquoise setting in gold and a malted silver background with a signed inscription of Laloma inside. The ring is a beautiful gold ring with a rare gemstone that was among the best at the time. In today's auction world, the bracelet is valued at around $20,000 to $25,000. The ring would auction for $4,000 to $6,000, while the print should fetch around $1,200 to $1,600.
I think the print would probably bring about $1,200 to $1,600 at auction, but I think the bracelet would probably bring $20,000 to $25,000
wow.
in today's market.
Oh, gee.
Unlock the secrets of hidden treasures as we explore the untold stories behind forgotten relics and ancient craftsmanship. David Lee Wilson founded Anglesey Sea Salt, also known as Hull and Mon, over 25 years ago. Wilson started as a fishmonger and later ran a public aquarium before venturing into sea salt production. He admits to being a bit of a hoarder, storing items in sheds behind his salt operation. Drew Pritchard visits Wilson's sheds and finds an old knotted boat fender.
So this is a rare opportunity to go into my secret sheds.
The fender, made of coir and used as a boat fender, is valued at around £150. Wilson and Pritchard negotiate the price, settling at £80 for the fender. Pritchard also encounters a North Wales bread and cheese cupboard in one of the barns. The cupboard, made around 1820, is valued at £2,000 in perfect condition. Pritchard offers £1,500, but they settle on £1,750 for the piece. Wilson takes Pritchard and his team on a tour of the salt factory, explaining the sea salt production. Pritchard wears a beard snood and protective gear while observing the salt crystallization process. Anglesey Sea Salt uses a process dating back 2,000 years, filtering seawater and evaporating it to produce salt. The salt is exported globally, making it a prestigious Welsh company. The salt water is sourced from the nearby Menai Straits, and the company pays a fee to the Crown Estates. Rebecca later visits a canal in Northamptonshire to learn more about fenders. She meets Pete Flockhart, a craftsman who has been making rope fenders for over 30 years. Flockhart explains the process of making fenders, which were traditionally handmade by boatmen. The fender Pritchard purchased was likely made abroad, using coir, a durable natural fibre resistant to water.
Because it's really good at it'll take the water on and it'll repel the water out, so without rotting as badly as some other natural fibres, yeah.
Flockhart demonstrates the technique of creating a fender by wrapping rope and hitching a jacket around it. He notes that traditional skills like fender making are becoming increasingly rare. Both Wilson and Pritchard reflect on the importance of preserving craftsmanship and crafted items. This precious pair of whale teeth have journeyed through generations. The owner's great-grandfather was a ship's captain from New England. He likely picked it up as a souvenir from one of the ports. We can see a spectacular lady and gentleman on the front. The backside shows whalers heading out with harpoons, with birds flying above. The other one depicts whalers actually encountering a whale, highlighting the danger of this job. These wonderful polychrome teeth are from 1840. The estimated value is between $100,000 and $150,000.
Estimate them in the $30,000 to $50,000 range.
Great.
Sound good?
Belgium is known for its chocolate, waffles, and beer, but it also has a booming antique scene. With more castles per capita than France, the country is full of historic artifacts. Drew arrives early at a small antiques market near Liège. The market features around 100 exhibitors selling house clearance items, from fixtures to furniture. Drew is excited as he browses the stalls. He spots a Tintin biscuit tin but decides not to buy it. The thrill of the market keeps him energized as he searches for treasures. One stall catches his eye with a stylish brass table lamp in the Hollywood Regency style, dating back to the 1970s. With intricate palm tree engravings, Drew knows it could fetch around £350 once rewired. He negotiates the price down to €20 and is pleased with the deal.
Yeah, okay. €20. Happy days.
Further down the market, he discovers marble scales, a decorative piece with early 20th century origins. Despite his usual rule against buying scales, he decides to purchase them for €120, acknowledging they would look great in a large kitchen. Continuing his treasure hunt, he encounters a glass-blown lamp from the Val Saint-Lambert factory. He buys 2 additional crystal lamps, knowing they can be restored and sold for a profit. Intrigued by a quirky shop nearby, Drew explores its eclectic offerings and finds modular side tables made in the 1970s. After some haggling, he secures a deal for all 5 tables.
Okay. One. 40. Deal.
Merci. Merci, mate.
Merci.
Drew feels that the marble scales and unique side tables will yield significant profits once restored. After a fruitful day of shopping, he treats himself to local sweet treats, satisfied with his finds and the vibrant atmosphere of the market. Hidden on a dusty poultry farm, Drew uncovers a treasure trove of rare antiques at unbeatable prices. Drew Pritchard, in search of valuable antiques, heads to Somerset. He visits Robin Broomfield, a dealer in Martock, known for his low-profile business.
It's run by Robin Broomfield.
Well, there is good antiques to be found around Somerset, especially on the moors.
Robin operates from a disused poultry farm, mainly selling to other dealers. Drew is drawn to a dusty rug under a massive joiner's bench. Robin explains he got the rug from a house clearance and offers it for £80. Drew buys two 18th century oak chairs for £15 each.
How much is that one?
Same price.
£15?
Yep.
You're having a laugh.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Drew finds a third chair, also for £15, from the 19th century. One chair is from North Wales and the other from the West Country. He then buys an early 20th century octagonal sandstone planter for £40.
Pay me a bit more if you like.
I'll give you 50 quid.
Merci beaucoup.
He buys a kitschy gnome for £10, just for fun.
It's a doorstop. It made me giggle. That's all. Nothing more than that. Right, okay.
The chairs alone make Drew's trip worthwhile, but he keeps exploring. Drew inspects the rug and finds it in excellent condition. He leaves with a van full of valuable items, having spent less than expected. As Drew drives away, he reflects on how fruitful the trip was. Join Drew on a thrilling treasure hunt through northern Italy, where historic antiques and savvy negotiations lead to extraordinary finds. Drew is thrilled to visit northern Italy, starting with Venice. He admires the city's architectural wonders and dreams of buying antiques. Drew and T are about an hour outside Venice at Antico Nevio. They meet Manuela Misaglia, daughter of the founder Nevio, and her niece Raquel.
Started over half a century ago by self-taught local dealer and now run by the next generation, including his daughter, Manuela Misaglia.
A self-taught antique dealer who started the business from humble beginnings. The former Venetian hunting lodge is now a grand antiques emporium. The 1895 plaster bust with faux bronze paint is in worn but attractive condition. Priced at €300, it could be worth around £1,100.
It could be worth around £1,100.
Drew negotiates the price down to €250 and purchases it. A rustic timber workbench catches Drew's eye with a price tag of €650. After negotiation, he secures it for €400. The workbench, made from a tree stump, is described as artistically beautiful. A large 18th century oil painting with a price of €2,008 is sought after.
2 or a go?
Okay. Deal.
Deal. Thank you.
Drew manages to negotiate the price down to €2,000. A bronze statue, potentially a fascist general, is priced at €3,500. Drew negotiates the price down to €3,000, which he finds a great deal. Drew is extremely pleased with the day's finds and plans to return. What we have here is a miniature version of the flintlock sporting rifle. This rifle originated in Germany during the 17th to 19th century and is renowned for its craftsmanship, precision, and aesthetic appeal. It features a short, slender barrel designed for accuracy and range. The flintlock mechanism uses a piece of flint to create a spark that ignites the gunpowder. Furthermore, this rifle has an elegant wooden stock made from walnut or maple. Interestingly, this rifle is called a Jaeger rifle, which means hunter's rifle, and it was used for hunting game such as deer. The German flintlock sporting rifle is typically made from high-quality iron or steel, and the barrel is hand-forged, contributing to its strength and durability. Although the piece exhibited is only a miniature version of the German flintlock rifle, it is still highly collectible. Surprisingly, this item has been remarkably well preserved over the years, further enhancing its value. In terms of value, this miniature firearm, designed to resemble the German flintlock rifle, would easily be worth
probably for £1,000, £1,500.
A unique coloured cartoon featuring Old Bill by Bruce Bairnsfather is currently on display. This artwork was discovered in the cupboard of the guest's father after his death in the 1980s.
Mark Hill is dropping in on Militariat with a cartoon of Old Bill by Bruce Bairnsfather.
It is believed that this piece by Bruce Bairnsfather was created between 1913 and 1914.
First World War uniform. Walrus moustache. Walrus moustache. He's got his medals on. So we're probably talking after the First World War. Right.
Bruce Bairnsfather was a prominent British humorist and cartoonist, best known for his cartoon character Old Bill.
Actually and instantly recognisable, and a character developed by Bruce Bairnsfather.
Remarkably, this particular work depicts both Old Bill and a member of the Royal Guard outside the palace. Old Bill is portrayed as an elderly, pipe-smoking British Tommy with a walrus mustache. The character gained immense popularity during World War I, serving as a major morale booster for British troops. Many candidates have been proposed as the model for Old Bill, but the most likely is Thomas Henry Rafferty, a lance corporal from Birmingham in Bairnsfather's regiment. An alternative story suggests that this cartoon may have been created during the period when soldiers were ordered to stand guard at the palace. The distinctive features of this large coloured piece by Bruce Bairnsfather makes it a rare find. Unfortunately, the artwork has sustained some damage over time. Given its current condition and unique qualities, this piece could still command a handsome price.
£500 to £700.
Yeah, that's fine.